Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are now listening to That Infernal Noise podcast, part of the Mental Health News Radio Network. Fuck yeah. Hey, everyone, we're back. We have, again, new digs. What is this?
It's not new digs.
It's not
that
new
means
digs.
we got something new. This is not something new.
Okay, it's a new recording area for us. It just so happens to be in the house that we've lived in for almost a decade. So, but it is new digs again. New recording gigs, I should say. Or digs, not gigs. Jesus. Anyway, we're back. Life is lifing as usual. How have you been in the past couple weeks? Because I like I know we've talked about Kaylee moving out and just kind of where are you emotionally and mentally?
I'm here, I guess.
This is very true. You are here. I know that with each kid it's different, but are there any similarities? I mean, outside of just
It feels harder because it's Kaylee, not Chris. Chris could take care of himself from the time he was like 15 on, basically. He was self-sufficient.
Yeah. He wanted to start working ASAP, and Kaylee just had too much going on, at school to really.
And she stayed more, not talking shit about her, but she stayed more childlike in that aspect.
Which is what we wanted. We wanted that for them because when we were raised, we had to start working, or I had to start working at 16 because I had bills to pay.
I didn't.
I did.
I chose to work at like 16 or 17. I didn't want to.
Oh no, I had to. I had to work because I was raised by a single mother, so if I wanted extra stuff, when I started driving, I had to pay my own insurance and I had to pay for my own gas and I had to pay for my own cell phone bill, and so work was, so I kind of wanted that not to be the case for our kids if they didn't want that. Because I feel that focusing on school and what they're doing in school, whether it be extracurriculars, just academically, I just wanted them to have the opportunity to do more things in high school that don't require you to miss something because you have to go to a job. So, yeah, I do see that it's a little scarier with her because it's Kaylee.
Well, that, and she was the one that said she didn't want to leave for fucking ever.
This is true.
So, I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, so it's just weird. I was messaging her last night. I was just like, it's so weird not asking you what you want for dinner or what your suggestions are for what I should make for dinner or things like that. So it's just like, it is odd. And odd is like the best word for it because when you and I got together, we didn't even have 4 kids. We had 3. And
one of them was very young.
Yeah.
Very, very young. Like, you've been in Noe's life since literally day one. You held her
at the hospital.
The hospital.
And then it was about a year later.
Tells you everything about our relationship.
Yeah, there's some shit, but whatever. And it was a year later that we were together. So
yeah.
Noe was a year.
Noe was just barely a year whenever
we got together.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me personally, from going from 0 to 3 and then from 3 to 4 it has just been so much to take on. Not that I regret it or don't like it or anything like that, because I would do this shit again. With the people that already exist. I'm not creating new life, by the way. Just putting that out in the universe. My baby factory is, I don't care if it's done or not. I'm saying it's done. It's done. I'm closing shop. I don't want any
Leave
more.
it to the younger ones
Yeah,
now.
I'm almost 40.
Like if Sis and Aaron want to have another kid, if Rach and Matt have kids, if
Yeah.
Katie ever decides to have kids, like that,
Anyone else
it's
but me.
on them now. Like I'm done young parenting.
Yeah.
And sidebar, I love Parker, Liv, and Bennett. I absolutely adore them. You know that. I love them more than anybody but my own children. And even then, it's like, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Same
Because
vibe.
you would do anything for any of them.
100%. And I would. And I'm not saying all that to whatever, but you could not pay me to be a parent of
Young kids
toddlers again. Because their energy is great. They're always happy. Well, not always, but they're by and large always happy. They're very inquisitive and like all that shit.
Innocent.
But it is so fucking exhausting. And I feel for Sis and Aaron.
I do. Because like Logan already asks a lot of questions. He's just naturally
Inquisitive.
And
that's how Benny is.
Yeah, and not in a... Okay, so to adults, it's going to be like, wait, hold on, you little son of a bitch. You don't need to know everything. And we've told him that too, because sometimes, not son of a bitch, but like...
I don't give a fuck. I cuss at my kids. That's how they know I'm serious.
That's fair.
Sometimes.
No, I mean, just like, we're not having him... We do tell him, look, you don't need to know everything, but it's not bad that he's inquisitive. Because I think if they lose that, that's when they stop wanting to learn. And I don't want that. But
That's how you become jaded.
yeah. But I also understand as one human being, and I've done the research on this. I did this when Logan was a baby. That on average, a toddler asks between 400 and 500 questions a day. And that's one toddler. Now.
And I mean, people are thinking that sounds excessive, but they're thinking of individual questions, not I ask one question and then why?
Why? That counts as a question because it's a question.
And that's the part that is just like, okay, buddy, Benny, I love you, but... Mm-hmm. And I didn't discourage him. You didn't discourage him. But it's just like, okay.
At some point, as an adult, you have to be very secure in yourself to be like, I don't know, buddy. I don't know.
And we've been parenting for 20 years. So it's just like, all right, no. Yeah, I don't know.
But...
Because whenever Chris was a kid, I couldn't do that. Like, I didn't have the wherewithal to say, I don't know something.
You had to look it up. You had to know. You had to figure it out.
Or something, just because, like, I thought that's what I had to do. Now it's just like, no, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't know. You have a phone. Go look it up.
Figure it out. That's what I love about technology nowadays. Is that, okay, for us, it was go look it up in the dictionary or go look it up in an encyclopedia. So it's still...
It's the same
go
thing.
figure it out. But now we have these devices that have access to everything and anything.
Yeah, but the problem is...
It has access to anything and everything.
And all you have to do is search something in a different way and you get a different result.
Yeah.
So that becomes the problem.
Yeah. So it is scary. But I do love the fact that we can be like... The random ass questions that we asked as kids and that our kids asked, like, why is the sky blue? How many birds are in the world? Or like, how many kinds of birds are in the world? Now we have the tools to be like, I don't know, buddy. So we can present ourselves as fallible, which is necessary in the parent-child dynamic, I think. But now we can be like, hey, buddy, I don't know that answer either. Let's look at that together. Or why don't you look at that? I don't care how many birds there are, but you do. I obviously don't say it like that. But, you care about how many birds there are.
You get fucked up looks from your kids, whatever. You're like, baby, I don't give a shit.
Well.
I can't help it. That's just how I talk.
It is. But it's cool. We know you. But, like, having that and then growing those people, like you're growing people. You're making human beings, which is bizarre. Because I got into plants this year and like watching plants grow and watching different plants pop or reproduce in different ways. Like you can take, there are some plants that you can literally grow from a piece of a leaf, but not another type of plant. You would have to get a cutting with a node at the base of the stem, or you need a node from an actual vine or seeds, or some present corms or create corms. So it's just weird to see that you grew a thing, and I call it a thing, and then you're making it into a functional human being. And then those functional human beings have the fucking audacity to leave the house, break my heart, because they make me love them. And then we got 2 more coming up. Because, okay, so now that we have 2 out of the house.
And like Kaylee's doing her orientation shit next week.
College.
For UNT.
And, yeah, like, she got accepted into UNT. She's going to be doing things. And Chris has been working since he was 16.
He's been busting his ass.
Been on the grind.
And trying to soul search and figure out who he is
as a person
at 20 instead of waiting
40.
Until later.
Yeah. Always. That's my advice to anyone who's listening who is under the age of 35. Start soul searching now. Start doing it now. It's not too late. You're not too old.
Well, see, I did it whenever I was a kid, but it was different for me because I didn't have any guidance. So I was just kind of going with the wind, and that did not work out well because I thought I got certain things in my head and be like, well, this is me.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was what I was trying to convince myself I was.
Yeah.
And Chris is different in that aspect because he knows who he is as a person.
I would like to say that even though we did fuck up the most with him, because he's the oldest, because he's
the guinea pig,
which
and
I
he fucking hates that so much.
And I can understand that.
I hated it too.
Because I'm the oldest as well.
Yeah, we're both the elder.
Yeah, so I can understand. I don't fucking want to be called your guinea pig. Take that rodent shit elsewhere.
I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah, like you don't want to hear that from your parent.
Yeah,
and like that's exactly what we've told him the majority of his life. Is like, look, dude, like. And
we've had luckily we've had the privilege, because it is a privilege, because our children don't owe us shit. Mm-hmm. Anyone who's listening, your kids don't owe you a fucking thing. Mm-hmm. They don't owe you appreciation, gratitude. I mean, it's nice.
They don't have to respect you. If you
don't have to.
If you don't show them respect, they don't have to respect you. Because if you didn't show somebody respect and they didn't respect you, you'd understand that.
Yeah.
But because it's your kid, it's different. I don't agree with that.
It's true.
If I give you a reason to disrespect me, in the moment, yeah, I'm probably going to snap off. But in retrospect and looking back at it, I will apologize and be like, you were completely right. Mm-hmm. I stepped out of pocket, my bad. Yeah. And I have done that multiple times.
Yeah.
I'm not above that. Unlike most fucking parents.
This is true. But like...
Accountability.
That should be our word of the year. Accountability. I was going to say week.
It's been the word of the past decade for me.
Fair. Because that's the only way you get to change and grow. And once you notice your own bullshit and you accept it and accept the fact that it doesn't make you an overall piece of shit, that you can change.
Yeah, I'm just kind of a piece of shit. Like I've
We're
had
human.
to accept that.
We're human. We're fallible. That's all it is that humans are fallible. And people need to accept that they are fallible and that they're not perfect. And not that anyone... It's so weird because, sorry, little side quest here. People who try to hide or not take accountability for their shit are people who don't think that they're perfect. That say, oh yeah, I fucked up, I've made mistakes. But when
there's
it comes
certain
down
things
to
you
it,
don't want to admit about yourself.
and that's fair, and
That's what I was
fine.
telling you yesterday. It's like I lived in delusion for so fucking long. I thought I was doing certain things a certain way, and then come to find out, like, no, you really weren't.
Yeah.
It's like you were at these times, but you're missing the trauma shit that you instilled on
The
people.
key piece.
And that's the part you need to focus on, because that might not make who you are, but it's a part of it, and that's part of the perception that other people have of you.
And you have to be okay with
You
saying,
have to accept it, and you have to realize that I fucked up. Like, I fucked up bad.
yeah.
Like, I was a serial fucking cheater. I was an alcoholic. I did all manner of other shit. I was a shitty parent at times because I was thinking that I had to do a certain thing
In a certain way of things that we were
and
taught.
it wasn't even that I thought I had to do it. It was just in the moment I'd get so fucked off that I just snapped and turned into
resort
what
to
happened to me as a kid.
Yeah.
Because that's all I knew how to parent, or that's the only way I knew how to parent.
And we try to do things differently the best we can.
And by and large we did, but it doesn't matter by and large. It matters what's going to stick in their heads 10 years down the road. And 10 years down the road, Chris remembers those fucked up instances. Yeah. And with him, they happened a lot more.
Especially since he was a boy and the oldest. And it was just
fucked up. It was fucked up. Like, that's all it is. Like, and I said it before, like, I did exactly to him what I didn't want to do because it happened to me.
Yeah. And then when that's all the programming that we have, it doesn't make the situation better, obviously, but it is the fact. And the fact and the want to be different can exist at the same time. And that is another thing. Sorry, I know that we are side questing onto other things, but like another thing is that you have to be okay with and. And is a beautiful word.
It's not an or situation. I'm either a good person or a bad person. It's like, no, I'm a good person and I can be a bad person.
A horrible person to people.
I have the capability for both in me.
Yes.
And that's the biggest thing I've had to accept, because growing up a Star Wars fan, you're either light side or dark side. It's like, I'm not that. As much as I want to be just Luke Skywalker and following the path of light my entire life. Or just
Vader.
I'm not that.
You're not.
But see, I never wanted to be Vader.
You wanted to be Anakin.
I wanted to be Prime Anakin if he had realized his potential. That's what I wanted to be.
I know.
I never wanted to be Vader. And then, like I was telling you, I was writing the other day, and then
I am him.
It dawned on me. It was like, I'm not Luke. I never have been Luke. I was Anakin and turned into Vader. And just like writing all that shit out, it's just like,
fuck.
Okay. Like, I have to accept it.
Yeah.
Because I did it. It's over. It's done. Like, I can't unfuck the housekeeper. It is what it is. Because
you can, like, that's how I feel about statues that are being taken down for historical purposes. Like, the history still happened. So do what you want with the representation of stuff that's up. It already happened.
But see, then you're discounting
all the people who suffer.
Like, I don't agree with the Confederate statue shit. I fucking hate it. I think it's stupid. I think you're bowing down to somebody that lost a war, and then you piss and moan about the others, the immigrants that come in and still want to represent their culture. It's like, you're doing the exact same thing.
To a country that didn't even belong to you. My ancestors
lived here. Okay, that's great. My ancestors lived here, and then y'all took it. So how is it any different? And it's not, I'm not throwing shade. I'm not saying Mexicanos are better than Wolillos. I'm not doing any of that shit.
No.
I'm saying that it's all the same.
It is.
So I don't necessarily care about them taking down the Confederate statues.
Those either.
I think it's stupid that they have them up still, but I also think it's stupid to take them down.
Because it already happened. They're already erected. They're already built.
But not only the bad shit that they did,
they lost. They lost.
But they did do good things in the meantime. Like, there was good aspects to it.
Oh.
Is what I'm saying. And
valid.
It's just like, okay, so you're negating all of the good shit because of the bad shit. And yeah, the bad shit was horrible. It was horrible. But
the history already happened. That's the thing.
you can't take that away. You can't do any of that. You have to look at both of it. It's like, I don't like talking about this part, but Germany tries to whitewash their history. And I'm not saying you should be proud of the Nazi fucking...
But it should be held up as a mirror. Hey, this happened.
Is what we were.
Please don't let this happen again.
We are not repeating the mistakes of the past.
Exactly. And by trying to cover up the history and whitewashing the history and making it able and digestible in a textbook, that's where
you're fucking up, because you're not giving people the benefit of learning from other mistakes.
Yeah. But that's how, I mean, we had this conversation yesterday in part. America's the new Roman Empire, and if we're not careful, we're going to fall. So, but anyway, by and large...
No, I don't think we're going to.
We are falling.
We're in the process of a free fall, and nobody realizes
yeah,
because
fair.
Everything's so divisive. Everybody's so divided by everything. It's just...
That's fair.
This is not going to go well.
Because
it's not going well.
No, because people have lost the sight of respect, of differing opinions. Like, okay, I understand...
If you're wrong, it's fuck you, I'll kill you. And it's just like, no, like we were having the conversation with Aaron. Well, you were having the conversation. Sis and I were just sitting there listening. But y'all had differing opinions, and y'all were able to just talk about it. And
then come together on a common issue. And I said, hey, if you need my help for anything in this arena,
let me know.
I will use my
That's
VTO time.
That's the way it should be.
And they live like an hour away from us. I don't mind, because the cause is beautiful.
And he's doing his damn thing. Like,
he is.
He's blowing up all over, and I've never been more proud of him.
And you know what? If there's a way that I can help my brother-in-law, because I know where his heart is. Yep. If there's a way,
though we have differing opinions on certain shit,
because he considers himself a Christian,
a Bible thumping Christian, and there's
not Bible.
Well, I mean, that's the best way I know how to explain it. It's like he is ardent in the belief of the Bible.
The Bible is the infallible word of God.
And that's fine. Yeah. That's him.
And
we don't necessarily think like that.
No.
But what does that matter? Like, does that make me look less at him? No. Does that make him look less at me? No. Like, we've had those conversations.
We have.
So, like, why can't it be more of that?
Because no one wants to. Everyone's full of pride.
What do they say? Pride cometh before the fall.
I'm saying. And it's just, but all of this, everything that we're talking about right now, we get to show our kids. We get to change for our kids. We get to give different examples now that we've pulled our own heads out of our own asses and realized I was a bad mom at one point. Not overall. No. I wasn't a bad mom overall. I made bad mom decisions. But there were shitty decisions
that were made, and we scarred our fucking kids.
You know, getting in your kid's face and yelling at them is not okay. Not sticking up for them in certain capacities is not okay. It's not. And I'm okay with saying...
You should have stuck up for them.
I should have.
You should have put me in my place more.
I should have.
And I agree with that.
I'm okay with saying that. I'm okay with saying I didn't make the best decisions for my kids. Because with me saying I didn't, or I can't, or I have a problem in doing something, that frees my whole system to say I can receive help. I can receive guidance. I can receive learning. So therefore I can change and learn and develop and grow. So I can pass that on to my kids. Before you and I got together, we were friends. And you said, you cannot be around me or my children if you continue to take painkillers.
The way you were. Like, painkillers are fine.
Okay, if you continue abusing.
If you do them correctly.
Yeah. Like, I abused painkillers. You told me before we even got together. Like, we were friends. Like, the romantic part wasn't even like... At that point, it wasn't.
Okay, at that point.
At that point, it wasn't.
It went back and forth real.
It did. But at that point in our lives, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And you said, you are not allowed around my children or me if you keep abusing And I had to look at myself. Oh, I'm
'Cause
abusing
I
this.
didn't want you to fucking.
I
I didn't want to
am.
get that call one day. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't. Not with you. I don't want to get it with fucking anybody. And I've gotten that call too many times.
Yeah. And I was on that route for
And
you to get that
I
phone
didn't
call.
want that to happen.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I just cared.
It would have taken you a minute because I lived alone.
Yeah, but with as often as we talked, it would have been.
Sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I would have known something was wrong.
So
almost
I
immediately.
had to take a step back and say, I'm misusing a prescription drug. I am misusing something that is being prescribed to me. Obviously, the prescription was being written by someone who...
That's a completely different can of worms.
Yep. So I wasn't actually in need of them, but the prescription was in my name. It was a prescription. It was for my back. It was for, yeah, but I didn't need 5 of them every couple hours. So I had to stop and I had to look at myself and be like, oh,
This is what he's talking about.
okay, I have to stop this, or else these children that I've fallen in love with that are part of, like, and again,
My kids were dope. Everybody loved my kids. Everybody still loves my kids.
Oh yeah,
I'm convinced that some people like Chris more than they like me.
that might be true.
And I'm fine with that. That's what I want. Is like, I want you to be better and more engaging than I am, because I am not that fucking guy.
But I had to say, okay, I have a problem. I have to do something. So all of this, and I hope that Chris can see one day, and I think he does, that that wasn't our goal.
I think he knows that.
It wasn't our goal.
Like, he gets where we're coming from because of the conversation.
And I don't say that to negate anything, because his
point of view
experience
was 100% accurate. He wasn't making shit up. He was not over exaggerating shit. He was very cut and dry and explained exactly how he felt and what situations made him feel that way. And he was right. He was 100% correct.
All of it. All of it. Mm-hmm. You know?
It was a kick in the dick, but
we did it.
yeah, like if you don't want the shit talked about you, if you don't want to be confronted with it, don't do the fucking shit.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated. It's the same thing we told them. If you
Do
don't
better.
want to get in trouble for shit, don't do the dumb shit.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. We played stupid games. We played the same games our parents did.
And you even take it outside of parenting, like with the cheating and with the relationship shit that we've had.
I didn't have any good. I knew nothing but chaos. I didn't know relationships. I didn't know.
And that's my point. It's like we were navigating all of that at the same time.
And again, in a lot of people's stories, I'm a bad guy, and I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with that. Like, I'm such a bad guy that you come back and want to fuck me. Like, I know that sounds egotistical. I really do. But it is what it is. It's like, I'm such a bad guy that you would still consider sleeping with me. And then I just become the bad guy again. Somehow. And it's just like, dude, come the fuck on. Like, for real.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
that shit like that irks me. It's
I
like,
know.
oh, you're a horrible partner, but
what that dick do?
they're not asking that question.
I know.
I'm just saying.
I know.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Obviously, this is not current.
No. But I do regret being the parent that I was at points. But on some level, I'm glad that it happened, just so I could see.
You give that perspective. You can't get that perspective unless you.
I don't know I'm doing anything wrong if somebody
Exactly.
tells me I'm doing something wrong.
And we're not the type of people to go at somebody for presenting shit like that.
No.
We try to change behaviors, or we're just like, well, this is what it is. I'm sorry you don't like it.
Yeah, because
And
honestly,
but how often do we do that?
never. Okay, can't say never. Very extremely
Yeah,
rarely.
but the situations that we did it, it was valid. We were setting boundaries and people had problems with it, and then we're like, I'm not apologizing for that. I'm not loosening my boundaries to make you happy. That's just not happening. I'm sorry. I love you, but fuck
Give
that.
me better words to use to not hurt your feelings. But with that, like this whole life experience, when mom passed, I talked about the interview I saw with Lily Reinhart, and how we get to choose this, and I do think that, and this is coming from me, someone who has struggled with faith,
Someone
with
who
belief,
was ardently atheist for a very long time.
and that's because Christianity was weaponized against me, and I think man is fallible, so any organized religion is fallible. That's how I feel. Because it's man-made.
But see, that in and of itself is debatable. And like, okay, but where do you draw the line?
Agreed. But
Because you can't automatically assume that everybody's on some shady shit.
I
get what you're saying. I'm just saying from my perspective to be the other side of it. Like, you can't assume that people are trying to manipulate you.
fair. So that was weaponized against me. So I have a hard time with that. But I truly believe...
Catholicism was weaponized against me. I mean, that's all Catholicism is weaponization of religion.
Hellfire and brimstone.
Like, you hear that just in passing.
Yeah. And then history, it's like, come on. The Spanish Inquisition, any takeover of any country, you used your thing that wasn't supposed to be used that way to use it that way.
But that's historically how it's been used.
Fair.
So nobody knew any better. People are starting to learn now, and that's why I give Aaron credit.
So much credit.
He is getting what he's supposed to get out of it. He's getting the fellowship. He's getting the sense of community, the sense of
because that's what we're supposed to be doing.
That he feels that he should have, and accountability, like all of that stuff. That's what he's getting out of it. And that's what he's passing on to everybody.
And that's what you're supposed to get out of this.
And I agree. And that's why I say I can't paint everybody with the same brush.
No. I just mean the organized religion part of it. I don't mean individuals. Just to let everybody know, when I speak about religion, I'm talking about the organization as a whole, not individuals. I've met so many individuals that I don't care what you call yourself, Christian, atheist, Jewish, Buddhist. Where you come from doesn't matter to me.
Mm-hmm. As long as you're not a shit person.
As long as you're not a shit person. Show me the things from your belief system. Show me those.
Through actions, not
words. Through actions, not
yes.
words. Please do not do that. Show me where you're from. But it's just, I believe we got to pick this. Because I'm a scientific mind, and energy is neither created nor destroyed. It is transferred from one to, it's out there. So if you hook us up to machines, we have EKGs, we have things, our bodies are electrical impulses. So when it comes to energy, we got to choose this shit. And we get to live it. And we get to learn. But part of this is growing, is changing. Because you're not supposed to stay the same. If we were supposed to stay the same, we'd live in a world full of fucking caterpillars. We'd have no butterflies, no moths.
Well, if we weren't supposed to change and grow, we wouldn't change and grow physically.
If change wasn't
We'd
supposed to
come
happen...
out the way we're supposed to be, and that's it.
Exactly.
And we don't. We have to learn shit along the way. We have to develop our traits and all that.
If change wasn't natural, seeds wouldn't grow.
Or necessary.
Seeds wouldn't grow. The seasons wouldn't change. The weather wouldn't change.
Well, the weather, that's... Government controls that.
Mm-hmm. I know.
You can roll your eyes and say I'm a conspiracy theorist all the fuck you want. There is some compelling evidence out there. That's all I'm saying.
That one, That one I'm still kind of on this side of where it's just like, but I have seen what you have, and I can see maybe
Shit don't look right sometimes.
I'm
That's all
just
I'm
saying.
saying.
I'm just saying. I get it. But we're supposed to change. We're not supposed to stay the same. We would have just been grown ass adults walking around if change and growth wasn't supposed to happen.
Fully formed ideals and morals and all of that as we come out the womb.
And what a boring fucking life that would have been. I don't like all the pain that I've been through. I don't like it. I don't wish it on anyone else.
But we have to believe that it serves some fucking purpose. Otherwise, fucking long time ago. You know what I mean? Like,
Long time ago.
and
I
that-
would have never
and that
stopped
goes-
taking
that
pain
just
pills.
goes for everybody. I'm not even talking about people that
Us.
have been through the shit that we have. I'm talking
Yeah.
about people just living life. Like, there has to be a point to all of it. There has to be a meaning behind all of the suffering and everything that we're doing on a daily basis as a human race.
Yeah. And that's something I wish I would have embraced
Sooner.
early on in my parenting, in life in general, because I could have been in a completely different mindset.
Yeah, but like you said, you had to experience that. So
In
you
order to
have
get that
perspective
mindset.
to get there. So it's a double-edged sword.
It's fucked.
If you started out with that, who's to say that you would have progressed and not regressed?
Or if I would have used my learned things for evil or tried to
Whatever.
hurt
You
people
had to
or
go through certain things to get that
Certain
perspective. And I think we're on the good side of it right now.
I would like to think so. But this also gives us the opportunity to try to do better by our oldest two.
And we
because-
are.
I would like to think so. I really
Like,
I think so.
10 years ago, if everything had been moved up 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and Chris was in his 20s 10 years ago.
Oh God.
And he had come to us like that.
We may never speak to him again if that
Exactly.
was the case, because he would have been like, "Oh, okay, fuck y'all."
Fuck y'all. Like, this is how y'all feel. Like, eat a dick. And
Okay.
we had similar things like that happen to us as kids.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, well, I'm sorry you look at it that way.
Okay, science denier.
And it's just like, dude, fucking for real. Like, this is what I lived through. Like, you've been diminishing everything that I've gone through my entire life. And now you're telling me I'm sorry you feel that way instead of
You're
what you
right.
should do. And what you should do is I'm sorry. No qualifiers. I'm sorry I did that. I am sorry I hurt you because I never wanted to make you feel that way.
And that's what I did with Chris. And I
that's
know
what
that's
I
what
did
you
with
did with
Chris.
Chris. We didn't have our conversations with Chris at the same time, so
And
that's
I don't
why
think that would have been. I think it was appropriate that he had separate conversations
I
with
agree,
us.
because
We needed that because we needed it to be unfettered.
yes, because my parenting style to him and your parenting style to him were not the same. My
So it's
parenting,
not a
we didn't do the same things to him.
coverall conversation where you could just hit all the point and like, no, it definitely had to be the separate conversations because he did tell me a little bit of what he was gonna talk about
Yeah.
with you, and you obviously knew exactly what he told me because I
did.
told you.
Well, yeah, that.
Well,
and-
that and you knew you lived through it.
we've had that, and we've had kind of these conversations with him before, and so I kind of knew. But it was my time to look my son in the eye, the son that made me a mom, my first
The
son.
first one, yeah.
I had to look at him and say, "I am so sorry. I made you feel that way. I should have done better. I should have stood up for you. I should have, and I didn't, and I'm sorry."
I didn't protect you the way that I was supposed to.
I
It's
did
the
not
same thing with
protect
me.
you.
Like I was the consummate protector,
Yeah,
and then I was the one doing the most damage.
and it's
And I wouldn't allow myself to think that at the time. I thought I was doing the right thing by being a hard ass and
because this is how you make men,
and
and it's not.
that's the stupidest fucking thing now.
That's how
looking
you
at
make
it.
pussy grabbers.
Well, not only that, that's how you make sociopaths.
That too.
Because they think they have to hide their feelings and like
Can't cry.
manipulate all of these people.
Yeah.
So, like, I didn't want that
Yeah. And the fact that he is seeing that, and
at a young age, at 20.
Yeah,
Thank
it's beautiful.
fucking God. Because he's gonna be whenever he hits our age, he's going to be light years ahead.
And that's great. Fucking great.
And if they decide to have kids or adopt or whatever. Like he's gonna first of all, he would have been the greatest dad regardless.
He was always really good with
Perfect.
kids.
Like him and Kaylee do not give themselves enough credit for how good they are with kids. Yeah. Chris kind of gets it, but Kaylee does not understand how good she is with kids.
Yeah.
She's starting to get it because she's seeing her life, like her life path now.
Yeah.
And
I'm so excited for that.
I hope she sticks with it because it's going to mean everything to her. And she's going to mean everything to a lot of fucking people.
Uh-huh.
But Chris is the same way. Like, he's always been amazing with kids. Mm-hmm. Yes, he gets irritated with his siblings. No shit.
That's supposed to happen.
But, like, with Parker, Liv, and Bennett, like...
Oh, he adores them.
And they adore him. Like, he is, like, the cool...
He's
older cousin.
He's the adult cousin.
Yeah, and it's just like they eat that up. And even before he was an adult, everybody like they just loved him. Everybody gravitated toward him.
He got to drive. He was the big cool kid. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness! Yeah,
and he didn't treat them like stupid little kids. No, he was just like, "Oh my god, what's up?" Like it just
come on, and then like play fighting with them. Oh, you're so strong, and like he's always
been great with kids.
Been great,
which is amazing because I thought I would have ended up destroying that in him, and it didn't. It seems like it made it stronger, where he's like, "No, I'm gonna be
different."
Yeah, and if that's the fucking go for it. Because like if that's how you have to do it. Then
you can be better, and now that you've changed, you can help support him in that, and that's the best part.
Both be better.
Yes.
Because I even told him like after all of that, like I wouldn't have pulled my head out of my ass if it wasn't for you. He was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, Just know. I'm not getting into specifics or whatever.
He doesn't need to know what's been going on. He doesn't need to know that.
Well, he kind of, sort of, but that's not what I meant. I was just like, I'm not getting into it on here because I don't want...
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to put his shit out there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like, I am still learning from you. And like, I didn't think that I would be after all of that, but I am. I was like, you helped me see that I fucked up. In multiple ways. And not just that. I mean, other shit, too. Not just the parenting aspect.
Yeah. And
as a person.
And that it's okay to fuck up, but we have to realize our fuck-ups.
And we have to correct. Do something about it.
Course correct. And not overcorrect. Just course correct. Just fucking do better.
And some people might say that that's what I'm doing right now. I'm overcorrecting, but...
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's like I'm very middle of the road now. Where it's... Yes, I have that other side to me, you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
But that's not it now. Not to me. I'm not saying that that's not going to go back and forth and fluctuate and all that shit, but it doesn't have that thing in the back of my head now because I got presented with
real life situations
that actually affected me. And I know that's stupid to say because it was directly affecting me with mine. Mm-hmm. But it put it like under a microscope. And
it put it in your face.
Where it's just like, I knew what I was saying to Chris was right. Like I was giving him the correct advice or whatever. But then it made me step back and be like, you're not even fucking listening to that. And that's when it all fucking clicks. Like, fuck. So I had to retool my shit again because...
And it's never too late to do that. You're never too old. The phrase, can't teach an old dog new tricks, that's bullshit.
You can.
You can if that dog wants to fucking learn. I mean, our dogs learn new shit all the time. Mm-hmm. Just saying.
Yeah, it was like, what? No, she actually like popped up.
Oh, she did. I felt her move just now. Like... And again, and it's the same thing with Kaylee. I know we've been talking a lot about Chris because he's the oldest right now. Or like we would talk about him right now a lot because he's the oldest. But same thing happened with Kaylee. Luckily, since Kaylee is younger than Chris, she was
still in-house.
Yeah, she was still in-house when we started our changes. And we started our parenting changes and life changes.
I mean, Chris was still here, but it was at the tail end of him being here.
Yeah, and it was like right when we started. because what was that, 2020 that I started therapy? So that was like the tail end.
Because he graduated in 22. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Kaylee graduated this year. And that was 2 years ago.
And just because I started therapy doesn't mean that
we
anything
weren't
was
fixed.
No. And you didn't start therapy until 6 months after I started therapy. So even that, I would say like the last year he was here was really starting to get us to where we were kind of who we are today. And even then, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. He never got enough of the good stuff from us. And
Not at that time.
Not at that time.
Now he does. And he just gets to enjoy the shit.
If he wanted to tell me, hey, you hurt me. You hurt my feelings once a week. And I say, I'm sorry. You're right. I didn't do that.
And that's what I told him. I was like, just because you talk about it one time doesn't mean it's over. Away. If you need to talk about it again, if you need to talk about the exact same thing over and over again, that's fine.
And that's what people don't realize when it comes to receiving
criticism,
other people's experience of them, or they don't want to hear it over and over again.
Well, you're just beating me over the head with it. No, the fuck I'm not. You're still doing the same shit.
Well, or it's still affecting me.
It comes and goes as it affects me, and like mentally and emotionally. Whenever I start playing shit back in my head,
and what people don't understand is that on a like scientifically, like this is proven, this is fact, that your body releases the same neurotoxins, neurochemicals that were released during your trauma.
And it makes you feel like you're reliving it.
And you have to relive it. And
your body starts going into fight or flight.
And that goes
fight or flight. Did I say that right? Whatever.
I knew what you meant. I don't know what you said. I thought you said fight or flight, but it can literally make your body feel like it's in the same, like as it's happening, like it was happening for the first time. And that also goes for if you're telling somebody something and you're not believed the first time, because you're like, I have to explain why this was traumatic to me all over again. I'm not believed in my trauma, so and that's what people don't understand, is that my kid may come back to me and be like, you know what, you didn't stand up for me, and that fucking sucks, and that hurts my feelings.
Or like if he gets older and he has kids, like that's triggered a lot of shit for us, because we were like, something would happen and we'd react a positive way and then think, well, why the fuck wasn't this the case whenever I went through this shit?
This wasn't a hard decision to make.
Like, why was it difficult to just be there for your kid? And then that, and I'm fully expecting those calls at some point and be like, dude, why the fuck? And like,
why was that so hard for you?
I don't know, bro. Like,
my bad.
Like, this fucking sucks for me too. Like, I'm not thrilled about it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Not it is what it is, just diminishing it, but it's like, I can't change it. All I can do is tell you I'm sorry and try to help handle
going forward
better than I did.
Luckily, even though my mother raised me the way she did, there have been few times where I'm just like, I fucking get it now, man. God damn it. But that's usually for the incessant like question asking, where it's just like,
shut the fuck up.
Like, I understand.
Like, I get it, but
by and large, the things that our parents made hard are not hard decisions to make.
They shouldn't be.
But since we've made all of these changes, since we've got to have these raw conversations with our kids, the fact that the younger ones know they can come to us with those things, it makes me feel less guilty of only having 2 kids in the house. Because I know initially Chris wanted to move out to get away. And that killed me, because that's why I moved out. Mm-hmm. And I know I was part of that. Maybe not a big part of that, but I wasn't protecting him. I wasn't sticking up for him. So why would he want to stay?
I was the bigger part of that, I think.
So why would he want to stay if the other person isn't even going to stick up for me?
The people that are supposed to protect me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
And he understands my side of that as well, thankfully. But
You were just as fucking scared of me as he was.
so we can, I know that Kaylee didn't move out to get away from us. She's starting her life. And now I would like to think that Chris isn't, I mean, yes, he initially moved out to get away, but
He doesn't necessarily look at it that way currently.
yes, like he's already out and starting his own, he's 20. It's not like he's going to move back home because things are okay and start over, you know?
Nor does he need to. But I think he knows now that if he needs to, he has a security net.
Yes, he does. Because at the end of the day, I know that they have other parents, and
As they should.
as they should.
In this
I mean, they
situation.
have a great relationship with them, which obviously they should, which is fantastic. But if Chris ever said, "Hey, Dad, can I come back home?" It's not like we'd be like,
The fuck?
"The fuck? No. No."
I'd ask questions, but there
obviously.
wouldn't be a...
It wouldn't be questions as a, why do you need to come back home?
No,
It
it'd
would
be
be like,
like-
what's going on in your life? Are you okay? Are you...
Yeah.
It would be
more
a different
that.
set of questions.
Yeah.
But now, change is different, obviously, because it's change. I have to deal with my daughter. I feel like I'm losing my daughter, but I'm not losing my daughter. My daughter is just
She's evolving.
growing up.
Yeah.
She's going to college. And my son is an adult. And he is starting his life.
Like Ben started his life.
And as scary and as terrifying as that is for me, and I can only speak on my behalf because
Well,
I know that you may be scared too, but it's a different emotion for you. You know, it's sad because I miss my kids. But I'm proud of them. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of them because despite my shortcomings, they are doing fantastic. Despite what I couldn't give them at certain points. And again, this is just from my perspective, from my doing, because I'm not responsible for any of the other parents' actions or, you know, so I can only speak for myself. I am so fucking proud of them. And while it breaks my heart that they're not home and that life is just going, you know. I know that no matter what happens, we can talk through it. We can make it through it. As long as there's a shared respect and openness and honesty. And I hate the fact that I was a bad mom at any point because I was raised by a bad mom and I don't want to be a bad mom.
Yeah.
At least we have things in place because we do get to do this all over again because we have this coming up school year. We're going to have a 6th and an 8th grader. So we still have time to show them it's okay to talk about your feelings. It's okay to say that you made a mistake. That sometimes you're going to react in a way that you don't want to react, that you're not proud of. Yeah. That you're going to shout at someone you love, that you're going to hurt someone you love on accident, not maliciously.
Hopefully not
maliciously. That there are going to be pain points in life because that's just life. And that just because at one point you think you're never going to make that choice or you're never going to make that mistake, that it still can happen. And even if it does happen, it's okay. You're not a bad person. Everything you've done thus far doesn't end. You don't start at square one again. You start
It's a new rock bottom, and I don't mean deeper. I mean you
It's just
have more
different.
experience, so it's not
It's
this
not the
level.
basement
It's
level.
up here. So
Yeah.
you're already ahead of where you were the last time.
Yeah, you
And my
take
therapist told me that, and it fucked my world up whenever I
you
heard
don't
that.
start from ground zero anymore. And I really hope that I can give our kids going forward more of a safety net. More of, hey, I should call mom because she might know the answer to this. She may know how to handle this. I remember that one time she said that one thing, and she was dealing with this because of this. She might know. Or maybe she has another way to look at it. Or maybe this or that. So while I am not proud of the fact that I have not been a good mom at points, by and large, I think I've been an okay mom, a good enough mom, a decent mom. And now I can really take my own spirituality and what I'm dealing with in my own body and my belief systems and help them navigate and guide, because I don't have guides that are alive. I have spiritual guides that left us too soon. That's what I have.
Or did they?
Left us physically, in their physical corporeal
Or
form.
did they? Maybe that was, and this is what I've been dealing with, that their deaths have been the catalyst for a lot of change.
So much.
So is it too soon? Or was that
Right on
exactly
time.
what was supposed to happen?
Fair. That's fair.
I don't believe in coincidence anymore. Like, and I didn't to begin with, but then I got in my own head and I started doubting everything, and now it's just like, no, there's no coincidence in this shit.
I'm telling you, that 2-hour shower I took after mom's passing changed things in me. So much so that I can really sit here and say, I made bad choices as a mom. I did not do right by my children all the time. And if at any point they say, you did not take care of me in this capacity and that hurt me, and I'm struggling with that, every single time I will look at them, I will say, you were right. I could have done better. I love you with my whole heart. What can we do to go forward? And that should be the goal for everyone, not just between parent and child, between husband and wife, between everyone, from human being to human being. It should be. This is damaging when you do this to me. And I present that. And that person should be able to take it and say, I'm sorry. This doesn't feel good. I don't want this for you. Please let me change that. What can we do to go forward? And that's all I want from people. I don't want money. I don't want gifts. I don't want lavish. I don't want keeping up with the Joneses. I want honesty. I want integrity. I want authenticity. That is my goal for people. And that is what I want to pass on to my kids and my grandkids. If we have them, just.
That's not up to us.
Yeah, that's not up to us. That's why I was like, if we have them. If we have grandkids, cool. If not, cool. Whatever. At the end of the day, we're all fuck-ups. We're all fuck-ups. I will look dead in this camera. We are all fuck-ups. Look at me. Look at me. You see me. We're all fuck-ups. We've all made mistakes. We've all been pieces of shit at some points in our lives. It is okay. It does not make us that as a whole. That gives us a diving board to move forward and propel our lives. That's it. That's what I want to pass on. That's what I want to be, my legacy. That you're human and that's okay. Do better. That's all I got. So that took a weird thing, but until next time, guys, again, do all the social media stuff. As I wipe snot from my face, go like, go subscribe, go share this with somebody. If someone that needs to hear this message, isn't receiving you and your pain and your trauma, send them this and be like, listen to these motherfuckers. They know what they're talking about because they've been pieces of shit too.
Yeah, Mom.
Yeah, Mom. I was going to say a name.
I was going to say, no, I was going to do the Eminem thing. That's what I was going to do. That's what popped into my head. I stopped myself.
Okay, so anyway, please go do all the social media things. Please, if you need resources, if you need someone, reach out, please, to us, because I can get you resources. He can get you resources, please. And just because you fucked up doesn't mean you're a fuck up. Love you guys. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you like this episode or know someone who would, please help us grow the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Keep up with all episodes on Buzzsprout or anywhere else you get your podcasts.